Ellen white in the fire. When Faith stood amid the flames. The night was silent and cold. The stars above shone faintly over a small wooden farmhouse nestled among the trees of Battle Creek, Michigan. Inside, Ellen, her husband James, and their children were fast asleep, exhausted from the labors of the day. Their lives were dedicated to mission and ministry, writing, teaching, traveling, all with limited means. They lived simply, depending on faith rather than wealth, trusting that God would always provide. But that night, as the clock struck past midnight, danger crept quietly through the house. A small spark, perhaps from the kitchen stove, caught onto a piece of cloth near the wall. The dry timber crackled softly at first, then louder as flames began to climb the boards. Within minutes, the kitchen was engulfed. The fire spread fast, feeding on wood and paper, devouring everything in its path. Ellen awoke suddenly. She would later say she felt a strange impression that she must rise immediately. Half asleep, she sat up, and her nostrils filled with the thick, unmistakable scent of smoke. Her heart pounded. "James," she cried, shaking her husband awake. "The house, it's burning." In an instant, both were on their feet. The smoke thickened and the heat pressed against the walls. They rushed to the children's room, shouting their names. The flames were already licking through the doorway as they pulled the little ones from their beds. The family stumbled out into the freezing night air, coughing, eyes stinging, hearts racing. Within moments of their escape, the roof collapsed in a shower of sparks. Neighbors came running, forming a desperate line with buckets of water, but it was too late. The house, their home, their few possessions, Ellen's handwritten pages and notes, everything burned. The manuscripts that had taken years of careful thought and prayer were gone, turned to ashes in minutes. When the flames finally died, dawn began to break. The first pale light of morning revealed the blackened remains of what had been their home. Charred timbers smoked faintly in the cold air. James stood silently, exhausted, staring at the ruins. Ellen, wrapped in a blanket, held her children close. Then, to everyone's surprise, she knelt in the ashes. Her voice was calm, steady, filled with peace. "We will thank the Lord," she said softly. "Our home is gone, but our lives are spared. God still has a purpose for us." Those who were present never forgot the sight. The slender woman kneeling amid ruin, praying not for what was lost, but for gratitude that life remained. She didn't weep over the ashes, she saw them as a symbol of renewal. In the days that followed, Ellen's attitude inspired everyone around her. While friends lamented the destruction, she reminded them that earthly possessions could be replaced, but faith could not. "When everything around us burns away," she wrote later, "the love of God still stands firm, unshaken, unconsumed." Within weeks, help poured in from believers near and far. Small donations, letters of encouragement, and prayers arrived by mail. Slowly, the family rebuilt, not only their home but their mission. Ellen began rewriting her lost manuscripts from memory, word by word, night after night. Some of the very works that would later inspire millions were born again from the ashes of that fire. Years later, when Ellen recounted that night, she would smile gently and say, "The Lord allowed the fire to teach us that His hand is over all. Even when the flames rise, His mercy is greater." What had begun as a moment of terror became a story of faith that burned brighter than the fire itself. It was a living testimony that the same God who allows the flames to come also walks with His children through them. For Ellen, the fire was not the end, it was a beginning. It refined her purpose, deepened her courage, and reminded her that true faith is not measured by what we possess, but by what we refuse to lose. Trust in a God who never leaves us, even in the smoke and ashes of life.